it going? All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory podcast. Here with Tad and Will, recapping all things Super Wild Card Weekend, all things that took place here within the last week of football, and we're here to, recap Bills versus Broncos. I gotta say, Josh Allen, 20 of 26, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Obviously, a bit of a surprising touchdown by the Denver Broncos, and obviously that was a glorious moment. Talking about that for a quick second, Tad. You got Bo Nix, the rookie out of Oregon. You got Troy Franklin, the rookie out of Oregon as well. Yeah, 2 former college teammates and now pro teammates on the same pro team. And, Tad, I would just like to get your thoughts and take on that specific moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how Denver was going to have to compete in the game. Big plays. Bo Nix was going to need to show up, make the big plays, and I mean, Denver, they land the first punch there, and that's how it goes. You get the big throw. Troy Franklin, the first rookie to rookie touchdown in their playoff game like that. So a great start for Denver.
A great start for Denver. You loved to see it while it lasted for the moment. First time in the playoffs in over 8 seasons. So amazing for them. Bo Nix, he'll be back here. Rookie of the Year candidate. So kudos to them. And, Josh Allen and the Bills, James Cook and the Bills, they cooked.
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills, they definitely cooked. I mean, after the long touchdown, the defense really, they sort of sealed the deal. They just didn't really let Denver's offense get into any sort of momentum. They really buckled down after the long touchdown. A lot of strong players on this defense. You got guys like Rasul Douglas with his 3 tackles. Terrell Bernard had a big day with his 1 tackler for loss, 6 tackles overall. So just a very strong showing by the Buffalo defense. And they just let the Bills offense do what they were gonna do.
They led the Bills offense to do what they were gonna do. I just don't, unfortunately, obviously you're putting the rookie Bo Nix up against a really tough situation. And obviously you did like to see that touchdown, but outside of that, Tad, the Denver Broncos, we'll get more into them in a second, but yeah, they were not ready for this moment. But the Buffalo Bills have a huge divisional round matchup coming up versus the Baltimore Ravens. Sir, what are the Bills going to need to do building off of this game? What are they going to need to do next week looking at them?
Keep the Ravens out of short down and distances. Like throw the Ravens behind the chains. If the Ravens are allowed to just run the ball and do what they do, let Lamar go off, let Derrick Henry go off, then the Bills defense is going to have a big problem. I mean, everyone has a big problem when you're going against that rushing offense, but just try to make the Ravens a bit more one-dimensional. Try to take away their run game. Because it's going to be tough for Baltimore through the air, especially if Zay Flowers is unavailable. He's doubtful to play, so I mean, they're just going to have to not let the Ravens dominate the line of scrimmage and not let the Ravens get into like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1 situations all game.
They are absolutely going to have to dominate the line of scrimmage, Tad, and especially on the offensive side of the ball, because you got a very powerful front 7 in Buffalo that's going to come after you. Lamar Jackson, he's absolutely going to have to. I mean, you're going to have to put full trust in your offensive line, but trust that Lamar Jackson's going to have to go out there and make big plays. So, if you're that Bills defense, this is a win that you can really, really build off of. And yeah, and you talked about the line of scrimmage for Buffalo, Tat. Looking at the line of scrimmage, you got guys. I mean, obviously, you did mention Terrell Bernard. Obviously, how many sacks did Buffalo even record in this game? What, two?
2 sacks.
Two sacks. But I'm just looking at some other guys even at this Buffalo, defensive line. I mean, you got guys like Austin Johnson, right? Seven solo tackles and a half tackle. Um, Daquan Jones even. I mean, they got a very solid defensive line in front seven, so they're gonna have to build off of this and move the momentum going forward next week versus what's going to be a very powerful Ravens team. DeMar Hamlin too. I real quick, I just want to say beautiful story for DeMar Hamlin this season, and just overall, just beautiful. Every second that he plays football, folks, is beautiful.
Yeah, definitely beautiful. And of course, I mean, you can't forget from the Buffalo Bills, you got guys like AJ Epinesa and the veteran Von Miller, the Super Bowl champion from time ago. So like you said, a very strong defensive line.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, yes. I mean, I thought that was without. I mean, that honestly, it was such an unspoken thing, Von Miller, because Von Miller even said in a statement that he totally plans to, at some point in his career, come back to Denver, and I fully believe him. So, Von Miller's a Bronco for life, much way in the same kind of concept how Albert Pujols came back to the Cardinals to finish his career. I fully heartedly believe that Von Miller does end up back in Broncos country because he is a Bronco for life. But I would love to see him win a ring again because he's my favorite defensive player in the league, quite literally. So, absolutely, Von Miller is a powerful leader. I would say Von Miller, Tad, you look at the Bills defense and he's the face of him and Bernard, and obviously Hamlin for story's sake, right? But I mean, AJ Epinesa too, AJ Epinesa too. But yeah, those guys are like the faces of the Bills defense.
Yeah, I would agree.
And yeah, so looking forward into the Broncos' future, Tad. I'm kind of excited about it. Obviously, you're gonna go out here. Bo Nix is gonna have to really take the off season to develop himself more. You got to hit the gym, obviously, Bo Nix. So I mean, he's pretty beefy and bulked already, but you got to bulk up a little bit more. I feel like, I mean, he is just because that's his whole mantra is just being a tough, resilient quarterback. And Tad, I feel like being a rookie of the year candidate, he's going to have a lot of potential leading this team going forward. Cortland Sutton, you guys like him, Javonte Williams, Marvin Mims Jr. I was very happy to see what they were able to do this season and going. I don't know if we keep all those guys around, but I'm very happy to see what they were able to do. Moving forward. The Broncos did fire their special teams coach. Um, let's see. Yeah, Broncos fire special teams coordinator. The reason was stating that obviously missing key kicks and key divisional moments in key games. And I would just like to know real quick, like what it had to have been a hard thing to do there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that was the decision that they must think they needed to make, and it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things Denver can do to help further their team in the offseason. I think they would probably be wise to look at an upgrade in the running back room. They kind of had the running back by committee there.
Yes.
Estime had some moments. Jaleel had some moments. Javante had some moments, but I don't think it would hurt them to look at potentially using their 20th pick on a running back, or maybe even considering free agency. But yeah, that's one spot I'd look at. And then looking at the defense, I mean, like we said, this is a very strong defense, but you can always improve. What spot in the defense do you think they'd be best to improve?
Tad, I think we need to put a guy up front on that defensive line. I mean, we have a pretty solid defensive line as it is, but
Sure.
it's I don't know. Obviously, yeah, Jordan Miller, I was really excited with him. Obviously, you got Malcolm Roach, you got Jordan Jackson, so you have some very key pieces on that defensive line as it is, but maybe upgrade a piece there. Obviously, the corners, we don't need to worry about the corners for the secondary. You got Riley Moss and Pat Surtain there. So yeah, maybe I would say possibly a defensive lineman or a linebacker. Probably even more so a linebacker. But I mean, even then, you got Nick Benito leading the way there. So Tad, this is
Sure.
a pretty built defense as it is.
I'd agree.
So that's just, but those are my takes.
I mean, extra depth on the defensive line never hurts.
Overall for the team, it definitely probably would need to improve the offensive line more than anything else, and probably the running back room, like you said.
Yeah,
Offensive line and running back room, but a very
I
solid
like it.
season for Denver. First winning season in a while, and they're going to go places in the future. So be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on the Gridiron Glory podcast. This is Tad and Will. Be sure to catch us next week. We're going to bring you a hot recap of Bills Ravens in the divisional round on the Gridiron Glory.